In this video, we're not looking at a war, a battle, or an empire. Instead, we are looking at something much quieter, but just as important, where people in the United States are the happiest. Modern surveys that combine health, money, and community data place 5 states at the top: Connecticut, New Jersey, Nebraska, Maryland, and in first place, Hawaii. Each of these states has its own story and its own reasons for ending up among the happiest places in America. We will move from number 5 to number 1, and for each state, we will see what everyday life looks like, what advantages people there enjoy, and how those advantages shape their sense of well-being. Like any historical subject, this is influenced by geography, economy, culture, and the long development of the communities that live there. Happiness, as measured today, is the result of many years of change. Number 5, Connecticut. Connecticut is a small state in the northeastern United States. It sits between larger and more famous neighbors, but when researchers measure quality of life in happiness, Connecticut appears again and again near the top. Many people there say they feel secure, supported, and satisfied with their lives. One reason is work and income. Over time, Connecticut developed a strong base of professional jobs in fields like finance, insurance, healthcare, and education. Many residents have stable employment and higher than average incomes, which reduces the constant fear of not being able to pay for housing, food, or emergencies. In history, regions where people could rely on steady work usually experienced greater stability, and the same principle applies here. Education is another long-term strength. Connecticut has invested heavily in schools and universities. A large share of the population has higher education, which opens doors to better jobs and more information about health, finances, and opportunities. Historically, regions with strong education systems tend to create a more confident and capable population, and that pattern appears again in the form of modern happiness rankings. Life in Connecticut also includes a particular mix of environment and location. Many communities are small towns or suburbs with trees, parks, and lakes, giving residents access to nature and quieter surroundings. At the same time, trains and highways connect these towns to major cities like New York and Boston. People can live in calmer places while still reaching big city jobs and culture. This combination helps many residents feel that they have both peace and opportunity. Number 4, New Jersey. New Jersey, another northeastern state, is often remembered for its busy roads and crowded suburbs. But statistics show something else. New Jersey regularly ranks very high in income, education, and services, which all contribute to overall happiness. The state's location has shaped its history. Sitting next to New York City and Philadelphia, New Jersey became a place where people live while working in huge economic centers. Over time, this created large suburbs and commuter towns. Today, many people in New Jersey work in finance, technology, healthcare, and other professional fields. These jobs often pay well and bring in some of the highest median household incomes in the country. Education has also been a major focus. New Jersey is known for strong public schools and access to healthcare facilities. This is not accidental. It is the result of long-term development in infrastructure and local government. When families believe their children can get a good education and that they themselves can see doctors when needed, they feel more hopeful about the future. Historically, regions that provide these basics tend to be more stable and content.
The daily experience of living in New Jersey combines local community with big city access. People may ride trains into large metropolitan areas for work and entertainment, but return to smaller neighborhoods in the evening. Over time, these communities form their own identities, complete with shops, parks, and traditions. The result is a state that, despite its reputation for traffic and sarcasm, gives many residents a solid base for a satisfying life. Number 3, Nebraska. Now we move away from the coasts and into the Great Plains. Nebraska is in the central United States and is often seen as quiet and rural, but in modern happiness rankings, it performs surprisingly well, reaching the top 3. Nebraska's history is closely tied to agriculture, railroads, and small towns. Over generations, people built communities around farming, local business, and regional industry. Today, that legacy shows itself in a strong job market with relatively low unemployment. Many residents have stable work, whether in agriculture, food production, transportation, or services. This stability helps people feel less afraid of economic disaster. Social life in Nebraska tends to be centered around community events, school sports, fairs, parades, and gatherings at local parks or lakes. These traditions did not appear overnight. They grew slowly as towns formed and people needed ways to come together. In the present, these regular, familiar events create strong social ties. When people know their neighbors and feel recognized in their towns, they are less likely to feel lonely or abandoned. Mental health statistics also place Nebraska in a relatively good position compared to many other states, with fewer reports of severe distress. Combined with economic stability and social connection, this helps explain why so many residents say they are satisfied with their lives. Nebraska's happiness does not come from famous tourist spots or large cities, but from the steady, quiet strength of its communities. Number 2. Maryland. Maryland is a small state located in the Mid-Atlantic region. Its position next to the nation's capital, Washington, D.C., has shaped much of its modern identity. Today, Maryland ranks very high in happiness studies thanks to strong economic, educational, and health foundations. Historically, Maryland's economy grew through trade, ports, and agriculture. In the modern era, it has shifted towards government work, defense, technology, research, and healthcare. Many residents have jobs connected with federal agencies, universities, laboratories, and hospitals. These workplaces often provide stable incomes and benefits, which make it easier for people to plan their lives. Education in Maryland is also strong, with many residents holding advanced degrees. Over time, this has created a skilled workforce and supported industries that rely on knowledge and research. Access to healthcare tends to be good, especially in and around cities like Baltimore and the suburbs of Washington, D.C. From a historical perspective, this kind of infrastructure is a sign of a matured, developed region. The geography of Maryland is quite varied. It has cities, suburbs, small towns, farmland, and shoreline along the Chesapeake Bay. This variety allows people to choose different ways of living. Some prefer dense urban neighborhoods, while others select quiet coastal towns or country settings. Being able to choose a lifestyle that fits one's needs and personality is an important part of why many Maryland residents report high life satisfaction.
Number 1. Hawaii, a chain of islands in the Pacific Ocean and the only U.S. state composed entirely of islands. Its history includes ancient Polynesian settlement, independent kingdom status, and eventual annexation and statehood. Today, it is famous worldwide for its natural beauty, but its happiness ranking comes from more than just scenery. Hawaii's environment is unique among U.S. states. Warm temperatures, beaches, mountains, and forests make outdoor activity a regular part of life. People swim, surf, hike, and walk outdoors throughout the year. This constant contact with nature supports both physical and mental health. Historically, societies that live in close connection with their environment often develop cultures that emphasize balance and respect for nature, and that influence continues in Hawaii today. Culture and community are central to Hawaii's high happiness rating. There's a strong sense of identity rooted in native Hawaiian traditions, as well as the cultures of the many groups that later migrated there. Family ties are often close, and the idea of community responsibility is strong. Over centuries, these values have been passed down and remain part of everyday life. They make it more likely that people will support one another in difficult times. However, Hawaii also faces serious challenges. The cost of living is very high, especially for housing and goods brought from the mainland. Many families struggle financially despite working hard. Yet when people are asked to judge their lives as a whole, Taking into account community, environment, culture, and daily experience, many still rate their satisfaction as high. In that balance, Hawaii often rises to the top of national rankings. When we look at these 5 states together, Connecticut, New Jersey, Nebraska, Maryland, and Hawaii, we can see some clear patterns. Each state is different in history, geography, and culture, but they share certain conditions that support higher happiness. First, economic security. In every one of these places, many residents have relatively stable jobs and incomes, whether through professional services, government work, agriculture, or tourism. People are less likely to live in constant fear of losing everything. Historically, regions with this kind of stability tend to experience less unrest and more personal contentment.
Second, access to education and healthcare. These states have invested over time in schools, universities, hospitals, and clinics. This gives people better tools to manage their lives, treat illnesses, and find opportunities. When a society builds and maintains such systems, it reduces the number of problems that grow into crises. Third, strong communities and social ties. In small Nebraska towns, New Jersey suburbs, Maryland neighborhoods, Connecticut communities, and Hawaiian islands, people often feel they belong. Traditions, local events, and cultural values connect individuals to something larger than themselves. In history, when people feel part of a community, they are more resilient in the face of hardship. Finally, environment and choice. These states allow people to choose how and where they want to live, often with access to nature, whether forests, plains, bays, or beaches. Being able to shape one's surroundings, even in small ways, helps people feel more in control of their lives. So while happiness cannot be guaranteed by any map, and every state has its own struggles, these 5 places show how long-term development in work, education, health, and community can create conditions where more people say, "My life is going well." In that way, the story of the happiest states in America is not just a modern statistic, it is the result of many years of choices, changes in the quiet building of everyday life.